No, you are not crazy. Number one, this is back-to-back videos on my Y for the first time in a long time. And no, you are not crazy. I do look different. I'm wearing a Sounders hat. Oh, and I shaved. First time in a long time. Okay, so a reminder. I can't go over yesterday's game. This is only going to be previewing the games coming up. And so we will talk about the very first game of July. I can't believe we are already in July. The Mariners take on the Royals, second game of a 4-game series, and it's Emerson Hancock against Michael Lorenzen. Let's start with Hancock, who that last outing I thought was big for him, that he bounced back from that just disastrous start against the Cubs and pitched pretty darn well, I thought. I think this is a lineup Emerson Hancock should be able to do well against, in part because the Royals just stink. We talked about how bad this offense really is. And I think the key for Emerson Hancock tonight is keeping the bottom of the lineup from getting on too often. Because if you're going to get beat by the Kansas City Royals, get beat by the good hitters like Bobby Wood Jr., get beat by the good hitters like Maikel Garcia, get beat by guys like Salvador Perez. But don't let that be a situation where you get multiple chances for them to hit with runners in scoring position. And if you can get 6 strong innings, your bullpen should be very fully rested. The only guy I think that would be unavailable is Matt Brash after working in 3 of the last 4 games. You should have a chance to be very successful against this lineup. There's no reason that you shouldn't hold the Kansas City Royals to 3 runs or less or fewer or however you're supposed to say that word. Before we talk about the pitching matchup, the pitcher for the Kansas City Royals, Simply Seattle, I'm sorry I forgot to thank you and to tell everyone to use code MOLLYWOP15 to save 15% off your order. MOLLYWHOP15. Awesome stuff for the Mariners, but hey, I got this Sounders hat there. I also got this amazing Big Dumper Torpedo shirt from them. So good. Already great prices. Why not save 15% by using code MOLLYWOP15, www.simplyseattle.com, a link in the description. All right. So the pitcher the Mariners are facing is Michael Lorenzen, a guy that I have always thought of fondly because he was kind of a two-way prospect coming up. There were people who thought he could do both. Not at a Shohei Ohtani level, because there's never going to be another Shohei Ohtani. There wasn't one before. There'll never be one again. But a guy who people thought could be like a 4th outfielder and a reliever. Well, the bat stuff went away, even though he's a terrific athlete. And he became a starter, and he's been a somewhat successful one. Let's take a look at the numbers that he's posted so far this year after a very awkward pause. So Michael Lorenzen was actually pretty darn good last year, and at least in terms of results. He ended up making 26 appearances, 24 starts, 130 innings, a fairly small sample, but with a 3.31 ERA and a solid, if unspectacular, 1.24 whip. Hasn't been nearly as good this year. 16 appearances, 88 innings pitched, 4.91 ERA, a 1.38 whip. And he's been a little better as of late, and I only know this honestly because I've had to cover his last couple of starts. Did give up 4 runs in his most recent start against a Tampa Bay team that's been playing pretty good baseball, but held San Diego to 2 runs, held the White Sox, they're still technically a baseball team, to 2 runs, gets a quality start against Oakland, but because of an absolute shellacking against St. Louis, he ended June with a 6.31 ERA. So one thing Michael Lorenzen does well is he throws strikes. He has a 7.3% walk rate, which ranks in the 65th percentile. But everything else is middling or best. Expected ERA of 4.38, expected batting average of 260, average exit velocity of 89.9. Chase rate's okay, 28.6. That's in the above average percentile there. Doesn't generate a ton of ground balls, gives up a good amount of hard contact, 41.7. I think one of the things that I would be preaching if I was the Seattle Mariners today is being aggressive. I would want to be really at least assertive against Michael Lorenzen because you can get to his fastball. In fact, let's take a look at what those average or what those numbers are against each pitch. So similar to Michael Wacha, but not really because Michael Wacha has that elite change. You will see a lot of pitches from Michael Lorenzen. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pitches, and all of them above 90 in terms of how many pitches he's thrown. His four seam fastball is the pitch that he throws the most. Hitters slugging 487 against it with an expected slugging of 557 and a hard hit percentage of 51, actually closer to 52. You can get to that pitch. His changeup is probably his most effective. In fact, of the pitches he throws the most, that is the pitch that's the most effective. That may sound weird. We'll talk about why it kind of makes sense in a second. Hitters are only hitting 217 against that pitch, only slugging 391. Expected batting average is only 177. So it's similar to Wacha in that both guys really want to get that change, like get you into that change. But if you don't get that pitch, and if you swing at any of his other offerings, you've got a chance for a really good time. Weighted on base average by pitch outside of that change, 344 for the fastball, 379 for the sinker, 410 against the curveball, 356 against his slider, 392 against his cutter. Now, he also throws a sweeper. He doesn't throw it nearly as often. It's only at 6.8%, but it's been probably his most effective pitch, like a 148 average against it, only a 185 slugging percentage. Just doesn't seem to throw the pitch nearly as often as he does his other pitches, but it has definitely been his most effective pitch. It was an effective pitch for him for the most part last year as well. Slugged 429 against it, but a batting average of 190. That's pretty darn effective. This is a game where I think the right-handers can have some fun. I think the righties can have some fun. It'll be a little more difficult for the lefties. Big Dumper can hit anybody, even though he's technically a switch hitter, but you know what I mean? Not technically. He is a switch hitter. He's been really good from the right side. Just listen to my nonsense. I really appreciate you listening to my nonsense. Let's take a look at some splits for Lorenzen. So Kansas City's not T-Mobile level of friendly, but it is friendly. And you can kind of see how much more he's enjoyed pitching at home compared to away. In 6 starts this year at home, it's a 3.79 ERA. Away, it is a 5.68 ERA over 10 starts. So it's a larger sample size, 52 innings pitched, 18 walks, 46 strikeouts, opponent's batting average of 273. And you kind of take a look here at the left and right splits. Both guys are getting them, but right-handers are more effective against him. Against lefties, 266, 328, 472. That's an 802 OPS. Right-handers, 269, 317, 491. You've got a chance to drive the baseball against Michael Lorenzen. He's given up already 16 homers on the season. That's a pretty strong amount, especially when you think about the park that he pitches in being pretty good at suppressing homers. And if you're curious, at home, 6 starts, he's given up 5 homers. Away, 10 start, 11 homers allowed. It's a big difference. You know, over a homer a game, one place, a little under it. Maybe it averages out a little bit, but you can definitely get to Michael Lorenzen. Taking a look at the Mariners lineup tonight, something I meant to do in the last video. Let's just take a quick look. So it's a pretty similar lineup, but with one noted difference that we see. We have J.P. Crawford leading off, Julio Rodriguez hitting second, Cal Raleigh hitting third, Jorge Polanco back in the lineup hitting cleanup, Randy Arozarena hitting fifth. Great game from Randy, by the way. I know I'm not supposed to talk about it, but I did it anyway. Luke Raley hitting sixth, Dom Canzone hitting seventh, Ben Williamson back in the lineup hitting eighth, and Cole Young hitting ninth. So the Mariners are going with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys who will hit from the left side. I'm a little surprised by that, but I also get it, right? You're not just going to bring in righties for it, but maybe you have Mitch Garver in the lineup for this game. Would have been something I'd consider, but I think you got to get Jorge Polanco back in the lineup if he's healthy enough to do so. It's been really bad over the last 10 or dozen games, give or take, somewhere in between that. He needs to get going again. I'd love to see Julio drive the baseball today. Big Dumper is Big Dumper. This is a game that I wouldn't be surprised if Randy had a big game. think the pitching matchup is favorable for a Ben Williamson. I like Williamson being in the lineup today over a Miles Mastroboni. This is a game you should win. This is a game you should win. Take some momentum from these last two wins. Guarantee the series split. I think anything but a 5-2 homestand is going to be disappointing because of the teams that they're playing. More so the way these teams are playing. I know Pittsburgh's been playing well, and I know Kansas City is a talented baseball team, but they've stunk. This is the right time to get these guys. The right time to get these guys. I'm going to do a prediction and say the Mariners win 5-2 today. I'm going to go with a 5-2 Mariners win. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe. A reminder, I'm going to go before every single Mariner game, and then I'm going to go live on Locked On Sports to recap every single Mariners game. So you're getting a lot of me, and you're going to get sick of me. That's okay. That's okay. Welcome to my family. See that? I don't like that. Hope that doesn't cause anybody to have an issue. I need a better computer stand. Go Mariners. Bye.